is Gail Turner Brown. I'm a Small Business Network and Small Business Network TV. And I am launching a new video series called Real Talk on Network Marketing. And this is obviously one that's very near and dear to my heart. But as business people and people who want to get involved with business, oftentimes network marketing is the first entry level they have to understanding business. And so I decided I really wanted to dig deep. This is the place to come for no BS, no fluff about network marketing. And if you are involved with network marketing, thinking about being involved with network marketing, know somebody who's involved with network marketing, then this is the place you want to come to get real information from real people who have been very successful in the industry and who are not going to give you any crap, okay? They're going to tell you the truth, and that is what this is for. And so this is our first launch of the series. And my guest today, I am like so honored, is Lisa Kidder. She's been involved in the industry for more than 15 years. She's been at the top. She's helped other people come to the top. She's now an author, a speaker, a coach. And so I figured what better, and she's a power lady. So I figured what better way to launch this series than to have someone that I truly respect and that have been following for a long time to really start and get this party started and kicked off right. So with that being said, welcome, Lisa.
Gail, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thank you. And I really am. I'm so appreciative of the fact that I reached out that you said yes. And so with that, I'm going to get this party started because as you heard, this is going to be no fluff, no BS. This is going to be the real deal about what it really takes. And so for some people who don't know about your awesomeness, I would love to get it started like I start everything at the beginning. How did you get involved in this industry?
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. Isn't it crazy that you and I actually met in person about 15 years ago? But I was my very first introduction into our profession where I actually signed up to get started in a business was 1985. So I was like 22 years old and, absolutely clueless, didn't know anything about anything other than I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a business owner. And I got started with a company that has cosmetics, and I was hoping to get the pink Cadillac, but that never happened because I never understood, I was just so young. I didn't understand duplication. It was no fault of the company. I had just, it was the whole try before you buy, and everybody tried and nobody would buy after they tried. They used all my products and I gave away more products than I ever sold. But it was just a wonderful introduction into our profession. And I was part-time with that company and then later a health and nutrition company. So from 85 to about 93 or 94, I was very part-time, just learning and attending workshops and seminars and listening to audio programs and plugging into mentors and people, just trying to get an understanding of how this all worked. Of course, now we have this great technology, Gail. I mean, how awesome is this?
That's right.
We don't have to get on a plane and go to all these faraway places to hear wonderful speakers speak and share information. So it wasn't until, like I say, about 93 or 94, I was in real estate, in property management. I was a regional property manager in the Sacramento area. Really frustrated with it. They had told me I was never going to make more than about $45,000 a year in income. And I was like, oh man, living in California at that time, even back then, that was not going very far, that type of income. So it was time for me to really get serious about my home-based business. And that's when I just jumped in with both feet and went full time. And that was about, like I said, I can't remember exactly, but it was definitely 93 or 94 when all that happened.
Wow. Okay. So, like I said, I met you about 15 years ago. I didn't think I realized that you had been involved for quite some time, even prior to our meeting. So, okay, so you didn't get the pink Cadillac, and you said that people were not buying. Now, you always hear, hey, the product will sell itself. So why didn't it sell itself? I mean, you say, hey, this is how the spiel normally goes that I've heard. There's this many women love makeup, they love this, they love that. You have this huge industry of people that you should be able to market to, so it shouldn't be difficult at all. So what happened?
Yeah, now things have probably changed. All I know is back then we were told to sample full-size products. So, I was sampling out full-size product after I'd gotten, I think I spent maybe $1,000 on that kit or whatever, and that was a long time ago, right? So I was sampling out my full-size products, and they would use all of the skincare and all of the, shampoo, and then when it was time to collect the money, they were like, oh, I liked it. It was great, but I just don't want to spend the money. And I was like, oh, well, can I have that back? And they give me back empty bottles, right? So that was my challenge, is that back then we were letting them use full-size samples. Now, obviously, I was very new. And like I say, no fault of the companies. I'm sure there was some other protocol involved, probably like use the same bottle, get it back from one person, give it to the next. But I didn't realize that. I was just giving everybody the makeup and the skincare, and then no one was buying. And,
right.
But in all fairness, it was just such a great learning experience, because
Right.
I was reading all of the books that I was, that was suggested. Listening back then, we had audio cassette tapes. So I'm listening to all the audio cassette tapes. And like I said, shortly thereafter, I got into a health and nutrition company and started really to be a better student and start going and doing whatever I had to do to get airfare or to get carpooling and get into a car, and all of us go and attend workshops and so forth. So that was just a process of becoming educated, I guess, about our profession and understanding really what being a business owner was about.
Okay, so, and I'm glad you said that, because that's the part I think that a number of people don't really get. And as you said, when you first got involved, you were part-time. That's how most people start.
Right.
And so you are an employee, and now you just started this business, and there's a different mindset. There's a different brain thing that has to take place to be a business owner. So talk a little bit about that, and how to make that shift from employee to home-based business owner.
Right. And that is so key, because the mindset is very important. And that is the fact that just taking ownership of your business, and approaching people as though you are a business, successful business owner. And oftentimes people get confused, and I certainly did. And that was that I am not worthy until I earn money, So until I earn money, I'm really not worthy for people's respect, or for me to approach them. Why would anybody want to get started with me and sign up with me in my business when I haven't earned any money? So that was kind of the place I was coming from. And I know from coaching, thousands of people now over the years, that many people have ended up with that same quandary. And so what ended up happening for me is I struggled. I mean, I really struggled, Gail. I don't know if you remember my story, but holy cow, I was a single mother at a young age. So here I was, working this business. By 94 or so, I had just said, take this job and shove it, right? And I left my job. And even though it wasn't paying a ton of money, it was paying enough to get by. So once I walked away from that, because honestly, I thought I'm going to be rich in like 6 months for sure. I should make my first million in my first 6 months. I mean, that's the way the picture was painted. And I thought for sure in this new company, this health and nutrition company, I thought that's what was going to happen. So I was like, oh, whatever, job, who did that, right? So when I got started full time, all of a sudden the fear kicked in, and I realized, oh my gosh, I am responsible for not only myself, but I got this little boy, and I've got a mortgage and a car payment, and all these responsibilities, and no guaranteed income coming in anymore. And so the mindset, let's go back to that. The mindset for me was I just freaked out. I started getting really scared, thinking, how am I going to pull this off? So around, that time in my life and in this, in my career with direct sales and network marketing, I just was going up and down. I would have some months where I'd make $3,000, $4,000, and then the next month, nothing. And then the next month, I might make 3,000, and then I'd go 3 more months with no money, or everybody would quit. I'd sign up all kinds of people. They were all excited, and then they'd disappear and become a part of the, missing persons society. I couldn't find them anymore. So that went on for a few years. But one thing I did know is that I wasn't going to quit. Quitting was never an option for me. I was like, I'll be dang if I'm going to, let this get the best of me. I was looking around, and to be completely honest, I was looking at people and I thought, she's not as good as I am. She's making $10,000 a month. What's going on? Right. He's phenomenal, but he's not even articulate. I can't understand a word he's saying. And yet look at his group. He's got this huge organization. What is going on? So that was a very frustrating time for me. And I started to have to take odd jobs that paid by the day. I was a personal trainer on the side. I had done that for many years in fitness. So I went back to that to work personal training on a part-time basis just to get some cash coming in. I knew that if I went back to the corporate world, I'd probably never get out again, because I knew too much. I knew how scary it was out here. And I'd probably never have the guts to get back out again. So I was like, I'm not going back in, because if I do, I'll never leave again. I'll get too comfy and cozy and forget that I have these dreams and so forth.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is so, I know so many people, me included, that fit that profile. That one, you immediately begin to compare yourself to other people, and what you don't get. And I think it's one of the things I learned back when I mentioned before is to, you have to pay the full price, and you don't know what price they paid before you met them. So you really shouldn't compare yourself with other people, because you don't know where they are in their process. So you should only really compete with yourself, or compare yourself with the yesterday you to the today you, and keep that vision of what you want to look like. So
yes, yeah.
So what?
Absolutely.
So what kind of people did you connect yourself with to kind of help you turn all of that around? And I'm going to go back a little bit. I also like what you said about the other sacrifices you made. You got odd jobs. You did all of these other things because you had put a line in the sand that says, I'm not going back. So I have only one way to go, which is up, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get that done. So yeah.
I mean, absolutely. I was, and I don't know too many people like me, even today, after being in this business all so long and stuff, I don't know a lot of people that would go through it. I wouldn't even recommend what I went through. It was a different time though too, Gail. You probably remember. I mean, if we were going to see people, it wasn't going to be using this kind of technology. We didn't have access to it. So back then it was attend a meeting or sit down in person with people. And sometimes that meant driving long distances, and then later on, about 96 or so, I was introduced to the opportunity to utilize teleconference calls. Well, back then we were paying 15 cents a minute, and the later 10 cents a minute. And we thought we were getting a deal, right? I mean, no word of a lie. Sometimes my phone bill was $1,200 a month.
Wow.
And my mortgage was $1,200 a month. So I'd have to say, well, am I going to keep the mortgage going or pay my phone bill? Because without my phone, I'm out of business. I was using teleconference calls. And of course, back then it was just crazy. I don't know if you remember this, but we had no muting capabilities on those conference calls.
That's right.
So we would get on the calls, and it was just this crazy, wild, toilets flushing, babies crying, people arguing, and you're trying to do a business presentation, and all this chaos is happening. And oftentimes my prospect would just hang up, like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
they just hang up in the middle of the call, and I call them back, and there's no answer. Or I'd call them back and they'd say, I don't even know what was going on. I couldn't understand a word anybody was saying. It was crazy. So that was a wild time, you know, when my phone eventually did get shut off because I couldn't pay that bill. I wasn't making enough money.
Right.
My phone did get shut off. And then what I did is I started, this was before the do not call list. Okay, I want to preface this.
Okay.
Before the do not call list, I would call out of the white pages in the phone book. And I would just call and I would say, you know, hi, can I speak to, you know, Joe Adams? Oh, this is Joe. Oh, hi, Joe. This is when people actually picked up their phones too. Right, and they answered. No caller ID. So he'd say, well, this is Joe. And I'd say, oh, hi, Joe. My name is Lisa Kidder. I'm calling you from Northern California. And the reason I'm giving you a call is because you had recently inquired about an opportunity to work from home and to generate some income for yourself with a business of your own. Joe, is that something that you're still serious about? And he would say, who are you? Because I got him out of the phone book, right? I'd say, Joe, my name's Lisa. Are you looking for a way to generate income from home? And he'd say, well, where'd you get my name? I'd say, right here. It's on my list. Right? And he'd say, what list? I said, I don't know. It's just a list that I was given of people that were looking for a way to make income from home. Is that something that's interesting to you? And most of the time they'd say, no, take my name off the list. I'd say, okay. So I'd cross them out of the phone book, go to the next Joe Adams, right? Or John Adams, and proceed on through. But every once in a while, you know, that's why my phone bill was so high too. Every once in a while, I'd get people that said, yeah, I'd like to earn some money from home. Can you tell me what this is about? And I'd say, great. Let me ask you a few questions, Joe. You know, what do you do for a living now? How long have you been doing that? Wow. Are you looking for a business that you could do part-time and then move into full-time? Or what type of income is it that you're accustomed to making? What type of income is it you'd like to earn now? You know, I just start interviewing and I got them out of the phone book, literally. And I had lots of leads. This went on for a long time. I mean, and every once in a while I'd get a bite, you know, somebody would say yes, because I couldn't afford to buy leads. I got to the point, Gail, where I had approached my warm market, all of them, and they thought I was the crazy woman. I'd see them at the grocery store and I'd be pushing my cart and they'd see me come and they go, hurry, kids, get out of the store, get out of the store. She's going to try to sell us something. She's going to try to recruit us, right? So I'd push my cart and they'd all scatter at the local market. And I'm like, oh man, come on, guys. It's good over here, you know? And in the meantime, I've sold all my furniture to be able to stay in business, just to do my auto ship every month. I had, you could cartwheel through my whole house. I had no furniture left, including the ficus plants. I sold it all to be able to buy leads and stay in business. My electricity got shut off because I wasn't making any money, and my mother's church had to take up a collection to get my electricity back on. And it was a crazy time, you know, but it was a different time. Today, I mean, what a blessing people have today. This technology, I mean, it's like shooting fish in a barrel now, as long as you got the mindset on properly and you're really committed and you're willing to do whatever it takes, the WEIT. Yeah. You know, this is a different time, but back then, man, it was tough. When my phone got shut off, I literally convinced my dad to loan me $500 so I could get a prepaid calling card. And I stood at a payphone. Remember, this is 1996. Yeah. Those cell phones were this big.
Yeah, right.
I had one for months till my phone bill on that got $700. And I was like, okay, well, there goes my AT&T cell phone. So I got my dad to give me $500 on a prepaid calling card. And I went and I would stand on my break at the health club and on lunch or in the, you know, anytime I'd go stand and I'd hog the payphone. And people would be standing there going, hey, lady, wrap it up. I'm prospecting. Leave me alone. She's going to sign up. You know, yeah, go get, there's another payphone to block up. Go use that one. This one's mine. And I'd be standing at the payphone for hours. And I'm not even kidding. I'd prospect and do my business right from a payphone for hours at a time.
Oh, my goodness. That means having a really strong why. You know how many people would never, ever, ever do that? It's just no way they would do that. So
I know. I was determined. I know. I listen to people now and they're like, oh, I don't know. I text her, but I don't know. Should I call? And I'm like, call. Are you kidding?
Okay.
You know, video chat. You can Skype. You can do all
kinds of things. Okay. So this is really good because even though we have all this technology available, it's still being not really utilized properly. because you have no idea how many people I know I get hit up on Facebook, you know, who I haven't heard from for like bazillions of years, or totally brand new, and they'll say, "Hey Gail, how you doing? Click on my link." And I'm like, "What? Who are you?" And so how do you coach people to do this now? We have no borders, as you said, and you've got all this technology available. So how do you coach to do it in this technology world?
Yeah, you know what? I think social media has been just amazing. You know, that's where still a lot of my business comes from, is utilizing social media, you know, Facebook, Twitter, and so forth. And so what I say is just, Gail, you've been around a long time. So there's different ways that people will train on approaching your warm market. And I can't stand the beat around the bush method. To me, that's insulting, because eventually they're going to figure out that the only reason you reached out to them is because you want to either talk to them about a business, sell them a product, you know, get them involved, right? So I find it extremely insulting personally to reach out to someone and say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, kind of this whole romancing them and then springing it on them. It's like, I don't want to marry them. I just want to know if they're interested in making money, or if they're interested in using my product. So I believe the direct approach is always the best way, and especially to maintain a friendship. Now, with the example you just used of, "Hey, Gail, how have you been? Here's my link." I wouldn't do that. I would message you though, and I would say, "Hey, Gail, long time no chat. How are you? I've been watching you, you know, on your wall. I see you're super busy. Congratulations on your new, your new show. And I'm very excited for your success. Hey, want to get to the point. I know your time is valuable. So is mine. Are you open to looking at a way to generate some extra income, or would you at least take a sample of a product of mine and tell me what you think about it if I send it to you?" So I just like to get right to the point. Now that's warm market, rather than this whole romancing her for 3 days. You know what I mean? Like, I just find that insulting. It's like, please don't approach me and tell me, "Hey, how are you doing? You know, we should get together. Let's talk." And then I get together with you, and this has happened to me too. You know, with you down. I'll even be honest with you. There's a I'm not going to name names because that would be bad, but there's a big successful network marketing person in our profession, and she reached out to me not too long ago to have lunch with her. And I thought, wow, isn't that nice? Okay, so she just lives here locally, and I said, great. So we're going to get together for lunch. Well, the morning of us getting together for lunch, we'd scheduled it for like 2 weeks. She reached out to me and said, "Are we still on for lunch?" I go, "Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it." And she said, "Oh, hey, by the way, it's really busy. I'm hoping you can attend our event this weekend." And I'm like, "Event? What event?" This was Thursday. And she said, "Well, the event starts tomorrow, Friday. You got to take a look at this business." And I was like, "Wait, whoa, I thought we were just getting together for lunch." And she said, "Well, we are, but the reason I want to get together with you was so you could come to the event. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday." I'm like, I'm not going to drop my whole life to come to lunch with you on Thursday to do this at an event on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you told me this up front, I may have blocked out one day to do that. But I thought we were just getting together for lunch. So then I said, "Look, why don't we reschedule?" So, as long as I've been around, I still find it insulting. So I always, back to the point. The point is, be direct. Just be upfront. "Hey, I found something. I'm super excited about it. I know your plate's usually full, but are you open to at least looking at an alternative income stream? You know, we're entrepreneurs, girlfriend. I know you're always, looking for a way to generate extra income. So am I. And I found something that is very unique. And I was just wondering if you're open to looking at it. Period. That's it. Easy.
See how easy that is? That's very, very easy. It's not difficult. I have a friend of mine that contacted me, and he went through this whole big rigmarole in that he wanted me to take a look. He never asked. One of the things you just said, I think there's like 3 words. Are you open?
Right.
And that to me, if you use those 3 words, will be amazing, because if he had used those 3 words, I could have said, "I'm not," and we don't have to go through this dance. But we went through this whole thing, and I was like, and he was telling me, he's like, Gail, I know you are involved with, the internet, and you're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And this is a great company. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the name of it? Right. No, you got to come and say, no. If it's internet marketing, I don't need to go anywhere. So, and I said, if you're not, I said, come on, we've been around for a long time. Just give me the name of the company. Well, then I don't want you to get the wrong impression of it because you're going to pull it up. I'm like, look, I got a whole lot going on. So if you can't give me the name, I can't come. That's just the end of that story. And so, yeah, I think if people would just get to the point, and I believe oftentimes that is what turns people off when they are approaching people. Because if you can imagine how many people are getting approached that way every day, every week, and then, and then you can't figure out how come my business isn't flourishing, or why the industry is getting a bad name.
Yeah. Well, oftentimes I think that's just fear, as well. And especially for our brand new people, they're afraid to just be real upfront and just say, I've just launched a business and I'm just getting started, because then they're afraid that it's going to be, well, how much money have you made? Well, I haven't made anything yet. I just got started.
Right. Yes.
So if you're approaching anybody that's a seasoned network marketer and have any kind of experience in our industry, definitely be upfront, like Gail's.
Right.
Absolutely. But if they've, maybe no experience in this profession, you still want to be upfront and ask them if they're open. But sometimes, they're not going to say, well, what's the company? They might be like, well, what's the product? And you can say, hey, I've got this great, weight loss coffee product. It's absolutely amazing. I've been experiencing great results with it. And so I have some other people. I'd love to send you a couple samples. Are you open to that? Oh, who doesn't want, are they free? Oh yeah, it's free samples.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want free samples? So that's really, really easy. But I think a lot of that comes down to self-esteem. It comes down to belief. It comes down to really, like you mentioned, drawing that line in the sand. And I'll just tell you, Gail, going back really quick to the turning point for me, because remember I was telling you I was struggling big time and getting a lot of people saying no to me, or they were like, yeah, I'm going to get started with you. And then I'd follow up. And they'd have a different reason every time for why they hadn't got started, or they were still going to, hey, I haven't forgotten about you. Hey, how's your dog? How's your mom? How's your kid? I'm like, So what I figured out is that if I took it away from people, then I said, look, this thing is a runaway train. My team is growing really fast. Of course, at that time, my team was me, myself, and I, but they didn't know that. So it's like my team is growing, and my mom, and trust me, grandma wasn't exactly tearing it up. So, she was, I signed her up just because she's the only one that said, yeah, okay, well, how much, So, but the turning point for me is I went from broke, on the verge of losing my house to foreclosure. This was this was before it was acceptable to have a house. I mean, if it's acceptable, but we just went through a big crash where everybody was doing a short sale. Well, back then it was like, what's wrong with you? Interest rates were 10, 13% back then. And people, you saved it was kind of old school still, you really saved, you got a house, you didn't let it go. You were responsible about it. So here I am, single mom, short selling my house, no furniture left, couldn't take the car out of the garage because they were going to repo it. It was that type of a situation for me. And I finally just got mad. I said, this is ridiculous. I am not living like this anymore. These people are signing up with me. And I'll never forget the turning point. I called a guy, and he lived out in New Hampshire. His name was Rick. I remember him now. His name was Rick. He lived out in New Hampshire. And he and I had chatted on the phone. And yeah, he was going to get started. Yeah, he was a pig farmer. Yeah, he was going to get started. Finally, I called him up and I said, Rick, are you in or out? And he said, what? And I said, this is Lisa. This business is exploding. You are leaving money on the table every single day that you're not doing this. And you told me like 3 weeks ago, you're going to sign up with me. What's going on? Why are you not in my business yet? And he said, oh, well, yeah, I am going to sign up with you, but I just don't have the money. And I said, I thought you were a pig farmer. And he said, well, I am. And I said, well, sell a pig. And he said, well, they're not fat enough and they're not this and it's the wrong season. And I said, Rick, do you want to work with me or not? Because I'll tell you what, I will not call you again. I am not going to beg you or convince you. If you want to do this, you go sell a pig and you call me back. And he said, oh, okay. And he sold a pig. And the next day he called me. He called me the next day. I couldn't believe it. My phone rang. And I was like, this finally I got my phone back on, right? And my phone rang and I was like, oh, I saw, okay, my phone's actually ringing. Somebody's calling me for a change. I answered the phone. And he goes, Lisa, you know, he's got the East Coast accent. Lisa, it's Rick. And I said, Rick. And he said, I sold a pig. And I said, oh my gosh, you did? And he goes, yeah, I'm ready to go. What do I have to do? And I was like, oh, woo, it worked. So then I knew, oh my gosh, I had to help him make a decision. And he believed me, you know, and so he's my first sign up in that particular business other than mom. And then it just went like crazy when I used that on everybody. And that week I signed up 6 people. Wow. And then in the next 9 months, I made over $100,000 in that business by doing that, by just saying, look, you got to make a decision. I am not going to keep chasing you around. You are missing out. Well, let's go. I'm the leader you've been looking for. Let's rock, you know? Wow. And that was the point for me. So the business didn't change. The comp plan didn't change. The product didn't change. The crazy conference calls didn't change. They were still crazy. Nothing changed except my attitude. And when my attitude changed, everything changed. And my income skyrocketed and never looked back.
Wow. Now that is a story. So in this takes place with everything. It's just the mind. It's the mindset, period, in the story. And so what kinds of, this is really, really great, because people, oh my God, people have a tendency, they will blame everything else, and they just haven't gotten their head right. And so what kinds of things, because I'm sure even now you continue to grow, what kinds of information do you put in your head to keep you straight?
Well, it was definitely reading, reading some good self-help books every single day. I mean, I would read a little something. I wrote affirmations up. I put them up above my desk on the wall. I would read my affirmations. You know, I am the leader people are looking for. You know, I now attract, magnetize, and immediately draw to me like-minded people I can partner with to create 6-figure income results this year. You know, I had all my affirmations up, you know. I give wonderful service in a wonderful way. I give wonderful service for wonderful pay. I mean, I can read them all right now, but they're still in my head. So this stuff I was doing constantly. I wake up in the middle of the night saying my affirmations. I would wake myself up. I'm like, wow, I am the leader they are looking for. You know, so I just started really reprogramming my thoughts. And also reading a lot of, like I say, the self-improvement books on leadership, books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You know, the first time I read that, I was like, dude, just get to the secret. I don't have time to read all this nonsense. You're talking about a secret. Just tell me what the secret is so I can think and get rich, right? Because if you read Think and Grow Rich, you know he talks about this secret. Yeah. And I remember sitting in the car and flipping through all the pages going, secret, where's the dang secret? I don't have time to read all this book to get to the secret. Just tell me what the secret is, because I'm broke already. And I threw the book in the back of the car. And I was like, this is a waste of my time. This guy's beating around the bush. I don't have time for this. And it was about 6 months later, I dug the book out and actually started highlighting it and reading it and got to the, wow, mindset is the secret to success. Wow, the way you think, your attitude, your beliefs, you know, all of these kinds of things. So I started doing that. But really, I'll be honest with you, I had to posture up. And what I mean by that is I had to say to myself, if I were a very busy and successful businesswoman and not this broke single mom with a car about to be repossessed and a house about to be foreclosed on, but if I really, really had my act together, how would I behave? How would I talk on the phone to people? If I had $100,000 in the bank, I had a big thriving team, and that's where I would put my head. And sometimes I would have to set like a little timer on my desk. And my desk back then was a cardboard box turned upside down, because remember, I sold all my furniture. So I'd set my little timer, And for 15 minutes, I was all that in a bag of chips. You know, for 15 minutes, I had my red lipstick on. I had my high heels. I am like the bomb. You know, I'm using my phone, not cell phone back then, but hey, are you in or out? You know, we've been talking for 3 weeks now. Are you getting started with me? What's the challenge? You said you were looking for your money a long time ago. Did you not get it? Are you not motivated? What's going on here? You know, I would love to work with you. I believe in you. But if you're not going to take the first step, I got to move on. You got my number. You follow back up with me. All right. I'll look forward to hearing from you. Bye. And I started doing that. And then I'd be breaking out in a cold sweat. You know, oh my God. What if they don't like me? What if they don't sign up with me? Then my timer would go off and I'd be like, oh, phew, that's all the posturing I can do today. You know, I'm exhausted from all this posturing. And then the next day I'd set my timer. I'd do it 2-3 times. And I'd put my lipstick on, I'd put my high heels on. I'm like, that's it. I am the woman. Everybody wants to work with me. And I did that for so long that eventually that became who I really was.
Yes.
I played that role for so long that became the real Lisa.
Right.
And that was why people were just signing up with me left and right. Even today, you know, it's just easy. It's like boom, 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 because people want to work with a leader. People maybe are hesitant about getting started in our profession. So they're going to lean into your confidence. They're going to lean into your energy and your belief. And if you don't have it, you know, or if you're not presenting yourself as though you really believe in what you're doing, then everybody's scared. She's scared. He's scared. We're all scared. And no one's sure what's going on. So you got to be the one that's not scared. Right. You got to say, I'm not scared. This is my future. You know, I'm doing this. I'm excited. These are great products. This is an amazing compensation plan. Let's go.
Wow. That's really good stuff. So there are 2 questions that came up as you were saying that. One of them is, I know you talked about they'll build so they get all of that. They do all of what you've said and they start building their team and the team is growing and they're generating money. And the next thing you know, some new kid on the block comes and the team all of a sudden decides, oh, this is new over here and I want to get in on the beginning. And so your team goes from several thousand down to several hundred. How did you deal with that if that happened? And how do you advise other people to deal with it if it happens to them?
You know, that could occur. And what I've found, though, is I always tell people, get people loyal to you, not to the company. So, for instance, companies come and companies go.
Right.
And products come and products go. But there's only one me. So if you're working with me, I'm going to show you love. I'm going to give you guidance. I'm going to support you. I'm the one you're going to call when no one signed up for your meeting and you're in tears and you got all this food and you got this, you know, everything set up and nobody showed up. I'm your leader. I'm the one you're going to call at 10 o'clock at night when you got stood up for a conference call or whatever, you know, a 3-way call or whatever might have happened. So I like to get my team committed and loyal to me. So even though the company has the great products, the compensation plan, it's not the company owner that's going to take your call for a 3-way. It's not the company owner that's going to dry your tears when you're ready to freak out and quit. It's going to be me. So my suggestion is get your team to be loyal to you so that they know that anything can happen, but Lisa's always my rock. Lisa will never leave me. She's rock solid. She's the one that's going to take my call at, 8 at night or midnight. She's the one that's going to be there to pick me up. So the first thing you want to do is to really solidify that with your organization, that if they're going to make a move, I would find it very difficult to believe that thousands of people are going to leave me. They're not. It's not going to happen. They're not leaving me. They're not. Unless there's somebody on my team that established leadership over me and outshined me or made themselves bigger than me. And that's just not possible. It's not happening because it's my team. So, that's just the way. It's not happening. Nobody's outshining me on my own team. So, I want people to be successful and I want them to be leaders and I'm going to edify them and work with them. But, if you got an organization up to where it's thousands, you must have done something wrong for them, that whole organization to want to leave and go somewhere else without consulting with you first to say, are you doing it?
Right.
You know, are you going? And if you say, no, are you kidding me? No, I wouldn't follow Bob around the block, let alone into a new business. We got everything rock solid here, guys. You know, so without consulting with you, I would just find that difficult to believe that your whole organization would leave unless they didn't believe in you, or unless something happened to where fear got into your organization, or someone else, you know, that they did look up to as a leader decided to move. And I've seen it happen.
Okay,
Gail. You're not far-fetched. Oh,
right.
I've seen it happen. I saw it happen in a internet marketing business that I was involved with. And that wasn't that long ago. And I was making tons of money. We're all making tons of money and everything was rocking. And then one guy who was selling leads and one guy that was sort of established as a leader, there was a leadership council on a team. And there were about 7 of us on that council as top earners, not only in the company, but in that particular team. I didn't start the team, but I was a part of it. And the one guy had a lot of credibility and he decided he was leaving. And he was going to go and do something else. And when I saw a bunch of my own partners were questioning and wondering, I said, dang, I better go look at whatever he's doing, because he's going to take a lot of my organization with him.
Right.
And so I was one who really did go, and there were already some challenges with what we were doing. So it was sort of like the writing was on the wall. So I did say to him, you know what, don't go after my people. I'll come with you and I'll bring my team. But don't you go and approach my team, you know? So it did happen. And I saw that guy single-handedly take about 6,000 people out of that business. And eventually, you know, 9 months later, the leader of that team finally joined, but it was almost too late because most of his people were already all in that organization under him. So it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
But it's just, like I say, most of my team was coming to me going, what are you going to do? Right. Are you thinking of making a move? Or are you staying here? You know, because there was a lot of respect there.
So good. So Jimmy, address that then. Let's say you're the leader, you've got this team, people are looking to you, and you've made a decision for whatever the reason. Someone has approached you with something that you think, wow, this can be really viable. And let's say there's nothing wrong with the current company. You've just made a decision that you liked what you saw and you wanted to make a move. How would you approach that with your team?
You know, I would be very hesitant to do that. Like I say, I think in my entire career, I might have did that twice ever. And with this situation, I actually went to the owner of the internet marketing company and I said to him, I've got these concerns and I've got an opportunity to move some of my team over to something else. It's not a conflict of interest. It's completely a different business model. Are you going to support me? Are you willing? Are you going to kick me out of the company? Are you okay if I continue to promote the internet marketing business, but encourage my team because of some of the changes that you've implemented and everybody's income has dropped? Are you cool with me, you know, taking some of them over to this other thing that's not a conflict of interest? And he said, I have nothing but love for you. Do what you got to do. You got to feed your family, not me. I'm not feeding your family. You are. So I went to the company owner and he was cool about that. So that's a rarity. A lot of times companies are back up and want to kick you out. But I just always, you know, I'm pretty direct. So it's pretty rare that that would happen. I mean, I would really weigh my options before I disrupted everybody's lives and moved an entire team or an organization, just because there's going to be fallout. Right. And there's going to be people are going to get hurt. And so, like I say, in 30 years, almost in this profession, or about 30 years, I've only done that twice. I wouldn't recommend it. Unless it's just like, you know, because the grass always looks greener on the other side. Yes. And they can paint pictures and offer signing bonuses and all kinds of lures, you know, to get you over. But in reality, if you've spent so much time and effort to build right where you are, it better be real good if you're willing to risk your entire organization to make that move. And sometimes it is worth it, you know, but you have to really weigh your options.
Okay. So what do you think some of the biggest myths or misconceptions that people have when they're first getting involved? What do you think a lot of those misconceptions are, and how do you address them?
Well, I think a lot of the misconceptions about our profession is that it's not a legitimate business and that people don't have success here. And I mean, and the reality is it's a phenomenal, legitimate, opportunity, especially for the average person, because I don't know too many people, and certainly in the economy that we're experiencing right now, I don't know very many people that can just go, start a franchise and plunk down. It was years ago, I was looking at doing a frozen yogurt franchise. And I mean, it was $250,000 just to get the equipment and to get the agreement, for the franchise. Then on top of that, I had to go lease some space. I would have had to get it all set up. So that's really out of reach for the average person.
Right.
And so our profession offers the average person an opportunity to get started for, sometimes, many times less than $1,000 in a business of their own. And they can generate unlimited amounts of income. So I think the myths, going back to your question, a lot of times the myth is that this isn't a real business venture, or that we don't really truly have opportunity. And the fact is, it's no different than any other, business. You're going to have a business plan. You want to make a commitment. You've got to educate yourself on what you're involved with. You've got to have a high level of belief in yourself above and beyond anything else. Right. It's got to be a viable compensation plan. There has to be leadership and support. There's got to be ongoing training. We want to know that we have a back office that's going to work, that maybe has built-in autoresponders, follow-up letters going out on your behalf, so you're not having to go set up Aweber or a lot of different go get response and things like that on your own. Right. So, there's just a lot of things that the myth is that it's not real, but the reality is it's extremely real. I think the myth is what I believed, and I think times have changed so much. I know they have. We don't. Hopefully not very many people are lying to people anymore, but back in the day it was, oh, you're going to be at $1 million. That's why I thought, honestly, I was going to make a billionaire in 6 months. It was when I wasn't, because they told me that, they painted this picture of this incredible lifestyle, which is certainly attainable, but it's with time and effort, commitment, discipline, all of those things, which wasn't told. So the myth, is that it's a get rich overnight, and usually it's not. It's a get rich, but you want to know that you've got to commit, 2 to 5 years for sure of daily activity, and that's revenue producing activity. Right. That's just not sitting and organizing your desk. My desk is never the most organized desk, but I don't care. I don't care. We'll straighten all that out later. I got money to make and people to lives to reach. So, but I think the myth is oftentimes that this is easy. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's definitely not easy. It takes real internal fortitude. You got to dig in. You got to want it like a junkyard dog. You grab a hold of it, you hang on, and you don't let go, and you don't talk yourself out of it and psych yourself out of it. And if 5 people tell you no, you go and look for 5 more, and you get 5 more no's, and you're like, you know what, whatever, I'm going to find a yes, because it only takes one yes to change everything.
Right. And but I'm so glad you emphasized that it takes 2 to 5 years of daily, consistent, income producing activity to get your result. and I do know that a part of the enticement, it is still being done. I'm just going to let you know. Yes, it is, where you see the people on stage, they trot the person out who said, oh yeah, I just got involved, and 6 months later, I'm at $100,000. And they left out the fact that they've been involved for a really long, and in the industry for a long time, and they've gone through the mindset, and they've built teams before. They leave that part out. All you see is what you see now, and you think, oh my gosh, if that can happen for them, that can happen for me. And then people get discouraged when it doesn't happen for them in that same amount of time. And so I'm really glad you emphasized that. Now, when you do approach people, do you share your product first, or do you share the opportunity first, or does it depend on who you're talking to?
I'll tell you the honest truth. All these years, I always led with the opportunity, because I know that a lot of people are hurting, and a lot of people are looking for a way to generate more income, especially with you know, the economic situation and downsizing and layoffs and no jobs and this and that. So up until now, I always led with the opportunity, and I still will if I'm calling someone that I know is a seasoned network marketer, someone who has experience in our profession. Then of course I'm going to say, hey, you know, you've got to look at this, holy smokes. But for the first time in my career, I have a product that I actually lead with the product. Okay. And I say, yeah, I mean, because it is a product that people don't have to wait weeks and months to notice a difference. They drink it, and within a few hours, and definitely within, if I send them like 2 days samples, by the third or fourth day, they're calling me going, how do I get more of that? Because I can't believe how great I felt when I was drinking it, you know?
Right.
And so this is a first for me, and it's really fun because I'm also getting a lot of customers that are just customers. They're not business builders. Never approached them about the business. I sent them samples. They loved the product. They took it upon themselves to go to my link, ordered, became a preferred customer. That's never happened before. I mean, I don't care how many times in our profession we say it happens. Usually and this is the truth, guys, I'm just going to tell you, usually the only reason people do that is because they want to make money. So they have to do an auto ship, or they have to be a product user to be able to work the compensation plan. So almost always, that's the only reason people keep ordering these products over and over again, is because they're hoping they're going to make some money eventually. And that's the truth. But this is a first for me, Gail, that I've actually got a product that people are going and ordering it and not joining me as a business. So, I mean, that's remarkable.
I'll be really honest. That is what happened with me. I got involved with a company that had a product that, I mean, I get paid right now. I haven't recruited anybody in a long time, but and in fact, I even said this month I was going to go back. I have an attorney that I shared the product with literally 6 years ago, and I looked in the back office. I was like, there you go, like clockwork. You know, he's not involved with my business, but I know, and I've got a number of customers that's what they do every single month. I know they're going to order, and they're not building anything. They love the product. And so,
oh, you love that.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I really do, because I'm not recruiting at all.
So rare.
And it's like, okay, this is all good. I love this. In fact, I said I need to go send him a customer appreciation gift or something, because he has been my customer for 6 years. Wow. Okay. Wow. And I know exactly when he's gonna order, because he orders enough for a couple months, and I'm like, okay, I know every 2-3 months, there you go, like clockwork. So yes, I love those kind of people. But that is really good though. So basically it really does depend on what it is that you have then. That kind of helps determine what direction that you go in terms of what you're going to lead with.
Well, I mean, for me, I'm always building a team. I'm very competitive. I've got to be on the company leaderboard. I have to be in the top 20. I just ticks me off if I'm not. So I'm extremely competitive. So I am always building a team. I never stop recruiting.
Right.
Because I also, I don't know, I just love it. I love the getting people going and seeing them change and develop and grow and get so excited when they got their first payout, that kind of a thing. But yeah, this is really refreshing, and it's fun to actually just get some customers that love the product. Right. And that's and isn't that what our profession really is all about? Because it really is about, and one thing that keeps your company, my company, in compliance, with all attorney generals and everything, and keeps us marketing, is because we legit have a product that people want.
Right. Exactly.
So we're not garage qualifying people like we used to do back in the day, right? I didn't know you weren't supposed to do that, but we would get them to buy $5,000 or $10,000 worth of product. They'd stack it all in the garage. They'd have no idea how to sell it. But dang, I got my check, I'm qualified. So thank God, that doesn't usually happen too much anymore. And it's just really cool to see where we're at in this, the progression of our profession and our industry.
Yeah.
You know, we're all kind of grown up now. I mean, I'm sure there's still some of that goes on. I don't know anybody who does that because I don't associate with those kind of people anymore.
Right.
Now that I'm all grown up and I know, oh, we're not supposed to do that. But back when I was 28 or 29, I was like, who cares? They want to spend $5,000. I'll take it, you know. So
you are hilarious. I love it. I told y'all I was gonna make this was gonna be real. I'm telling you, she is giving y'all the real deal. I love it. I love it. Well, I mean, we've got about 10 minutes, so I don't want to exceed your time. And I know you're an author and you've got books and stuff out now. So share that with us, so that because this has been really good stuff. I knew part of your story. I didn't know all of that part. That is good to know. And see, here's the other thing too. And this is another reason why I'm doing this. It is good to hear the ugly and not just the, oh yeah, I made $100,000, in my first year, because people have a tendency to immediately say, well, what is wrong with me?
Oh, totally. I thought I was the biggest nitwit this industry ever had. I thought, seriously, what is my problem, right? I am calling people. I must be like dumber than a box of rocks. No one's signing up with me. I thought for sure there was something wrong with me, especially, never forget, I went to a seminar and I was one of the last people to register. And so it was seating was based on registration. And I didn't have the $600 to register. So I robbed Peter and, borrowed from Paul and did all of these things to get that $600 together. And I finally got registered like days before the event. So imagine it's 2,500 people. I'm in the second to the last row. And I'm just sitting there and this chick named Melissa walked across the stage and goes, I just had a $10,000 event and I don't understand how the compensation plan works. I'm like in the back row going, how much did she make 10 grand? I know the compensation plan inside and out, and I'm in the back row and I can't make 10 grand. My life depended on it, And what changed for me, I got mad. I was like, this is ridiculous, unless she's just faking it. This woman has no business making 10 grand. Someone's going to take that away from her. Clearly she doesn't know how she got it, let alone how to keep it, So I was like, I got so mad, Gail, that I was 2,500 people. I'm in the second to the last row or the last row. And that was a turning point for me as well. I went back home and I was like, oh, this is war, baby. That Melissa chick is going down, And the next month I ended up hitting all the high pay levels. And for 3 months consecutively, I did. I was flown out to the owner's house and up in Colorado. I was able to hang out with all the top leadership. And again, that was another turning point is I just got frustrated enough to say, enough of this, I am not holding hands and singing Kumbaya anymore. This is war. This is my business. I'm building this baby. Let's do this, That was a big turning point too. So you don't even know all the story, honey. I only told you some. I didn't even tell you about the resort I bought in Canada for $1.5 million. And I'm writing a book called My Last Resort.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Sometimes when you make a lot of money, you don't always aren't really smart about what you do.
You find
yourself back at the same place again. You're like, how did I get back here? What happened?
It's interesting you said that because I'm reading Damon John's book called The Power of Broke.
I love him.
Yes. Yes. And he basically said the same thing. It is really much better in a way, even if you're not broke, to remember when you were, because it forces you to use your imagination and creativity and don't do it quite as many ding dong things. And so, yes.
Oh my gosh, isn't that true? So I apologize. I got off on my tangent.
No,
I'm having too much fun. I'm having too much fun.
This is good. But, this is good. I am too. Marlene is too. She was like, oh my God, please do a follow-up interview.
So where can you find me? I guess that was the question.
Yes. And how do we get your books and your information?
It's lisakidder.com. That's where you'll find me. I do have some ebooks, audios, my best-selling audio, which I've sold, I don't know, almost 30,000 copies of over the years. That's Prospecting with Posture. It's just a huge, big yeah, big seller. It's been out for many years. I'm kind of the queen of the posture, you know, I sort of the first one to coin that back many years ago. So you hear it a lot now, but it was me. I'll take credit. It was me about 1997 that in 98 when I came out with that audio series I did with Jerry Clark.
Yes.
He produced. Remember Jerry?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, I learned about colors from Jerry.
Yeah, there you go. The magic of colors.
The colors.
Yeah, so Jerry produced that audio series for me. It's still a huge seller.
Yeah.
That you can learn about my coaching, find some free downloads and all my some audios and ebooks and things at lisakidder.com.
Awesome. That is really, really good. And I remember now when you were talking about the high heels and the lipstick, don't you have something called Stiletto Marketing or something like that?
That's my business. Yeah, Stiletto Marketing is my business.
Yes,
right?
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, Stiletto Marketing LLC.
Yeah, that is so cool. That is so good. Well, see, that did not take long. Actually, I said 45 minutes. We've been here for an hour. This was so good.
Oh,
I am
too much fun.
Yeah, I am so appreciative because you really gave some hot tips, some really good insight on how people really need to look at this and view it. And so this has really been awesome. It really has. And so
thank you.
And and let me see who else. Oh, somebody. Hey, Janet. Yes, I'm sorry you're late too. We're winding.
We're recording, right?
Yes, it is being recorded. It will be now. I need to edit the first part of it just because where we were just chatting before we really got started. But yes, it's been recorded, and you'll get a copy of the replay, and it'll also be a copy of the replay here. So that's really great. Yeah, so terrific. So I am going to let Lisa go. Thank you so much once again. Thank you everybody for coming to our first episode. Stay tuned. Make sure you guys subscribe, because this is going to be a series for the rest of the month. And and if it goes as well as this episode has gone, I think this is going to be a continuous show, because this is a huge topic. We got a huge industry, and I love having people like you giving us some real talk on what it really takes to make this a success. So so with that, thank you, Marlene. Thank you, everybody. So with that, thank you once again, and I will see you guys later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.